Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to From Corporate to Creative with your host, Kelly Gallia. Our show is designed to help you make the leap from corporate to creative, and if you're already in the creative business, we'll help inspire you to create success on your terms. Each episode, we'll focus on topics to help creative professionals like you to express your creativity, pursue your passions, and find freedom, flexibility, and fun in your own creative business. Thanks for joining us.
Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Kelly Gallia, and today's episode is about going from blind spot to profit spot. And our special guest today is Therese Skelly. So let me tell you a little bit about Therese. She works with service professionals who love what they do and desire to learn how to get more authentic visibility so they can easily reach their perfect client. And Therese blends her background of being a psychotherapist, but don't let that scare you. She'll tell you more about that. A strategist and business consultant to work on both the inner game challenges that many of us have as well as the outer game tactics. And she's so passionate about helping people create businesses that they will love. And you can learn more about Therese at her website, happyinbusiness.com. So before we get started, Therese, I just want to let everybody know that today's episode is sponsored by our special report, Creating Success on Your Terms, which you can go and grab over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/corporate2creative. All right, so let's get started because Therese has so much wonderful information to share with us, and I can't wait to go through this. She and I have a good time every time we talk.
That is so true. Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I so appreciate you having me here. And I just got to say, I don't know how you came up with it, but from corporate to creative, that is juicy. I just really appreciate that. You know, you get that picture, like you can feel that in your bones, right? I really like that.
Yeah, and it causes me a lot of pain on the from corporate side.
True.
But the rewards and the brilliance and the benefits on the creative side.
Creative, yeah. Sure.
So, Therese, I know that much of your own story has really shaped and defined how you came to work with the concept of business owners needing to own their brilliance. So I would love if you would take a few minutes and tell us how you got here.
Well, this is the Kelly, it's the I suffered so you don't have to story, okay? so seriously, you know, one of the things I always tell to people is my clients is like, hey, if you have something in your life that's a little challenging or kind of a mess, that could be really a part of the work you're supposed to do. And I got to live into that, you know. So I was a psychotherapist, never thought I would do anything else, totally was in love with the idea of just seeing therapy clients. I had a couple of young kids, and I sort of got the nudge that I should go to life coaching school. So I did, and, you know, truthfully, from coaching to therapy, you know, that's not much. It's not like I was doing rocket science because the questions are similar, and it should have been a natural, just an easy, but I was a bit neurotic and made it more challenging. And so I had a really hard time owning my value. I had a very hard time charging for it, and I didn't know what to charge, and I couldn't market it. I didn't have any training or that, and so then one day, crazily, I saw an ad for a business coach. Now, Kelly, what I have to say, then this is, if you know this background, it's really funny. I just had been a therapist. My last job was at an insurance company in 1989, and I did a really bad job there. And I used to think Excel was a phone company, as in I had never seen a spreadsheet. And so I decided to be a business coach. I think that's hysterical. And so from that, I actually, got hired working in a pretty well-known coaching company. And the really amazing part is that I could find that I could really do the coaching because, you know, we started doing all those free sessions kind of things the coaches model did back then. But I could never enroll people. I had a really, really, really hard time enrolling people. And then in my own business, you know, so I was working at a coaching company, and in my own business, I just really struggled. And here's the why. Here's what I discovered. is, you know, you said earlier, oh, Teresa's a psychotherapist and don't let that scare you kind of deal. And what I was doing is I was using that as, I was just a psychotherapist. Like, you know, if I'm going to be a business coach, surely I should have read a business book, or I should have had an MBA, or I should have. And so I had this story for years that who I was wasn't enough. And I was getting these killer results because, you know, eventually I did learn all the business skills. I don't like to not be very good at something for a long time. So I dove in and I learned. But, you know, my clients are coming to me saying, this is really weird. You know, I'm working with these like high dollar 6- and 7-figure coaches, and 2 sessions with you, I'm farther than I was with them in 6 months. And it's because of that mindset thing you do. And I was like, what? No, I'm just a therapist. Like I was for so many years, I was like devaluing it, and I had this like chip on my shoulder, and so I was being safe. Like, oh well, you know, I'm a marketing coach. I show you how to market. I'm a business coach that does marketing. And my best girlfriends, you know, they almost had to do an intervention on me. They basically said, stop, like stop saying you're a marketer. You're okay at that, but you're crazy brilliant at this mindset stuff. And so it took a really long time, and that's why I say, you know, I wandered in the desert for 3 years, so you don't have to, because from the pain of being so talented but not owning that therapy thing, that mindset, you know what I mean? I know I lost tons of money. You know, there was people I should have worked with that I couldn't. But there's a pain about not being able to do your great work in the world and really own it. So from that, my own experience, and literally having the breakdown, you know, having the business girlfriends, you know, beating me on the head, going, stop it. I get it. You know, so it's kind of funny. Again, the thing I had to suffer through, that has informed my work. And this is what I do with almost everybody. I show them how to get their brilliance out of their blind spot and into what I call their profit spot.
Fabulous. And I've shared this with my audience before, but I can definitely relate to, you know, this 3-year being in the desert.
Yeah. Yes.
That's sort of how From Corporate to Creative was born.
Yeah.
Of course, I left corporate just screaming, and I didn't want anything to do with it. And it wasn't until I really started to embrace that journey, and that's what made me who I am. So the more that I can get that out there and share that.
Yeah.
So we kind of suspect our own reasons, but why is it that you think that maybe people aren't owning their brilliance, or what are they avoiding?
It's kind of weird. It's really sort of a weird thing. And when I say this, people go, oh, duh, of course, yeah. I think our brilliance lives in our blind spot. So what that means is, you know, I have like a 5-step flow to it. It's you have to find it, own it, package it, market it, and then sell it. That's what I do with my clients. I take them on that journey. And so for me, I had found I knew, I'm like, yeah, I rock at this stuff, but I wasn't owning it. And the reason is, and we do that, you hear people all the time, we devalue. That's the biggest thing. We devalue the things we're brilliant at, or we take them for granted. And it's kind of like, oh, come on, it's so easy. Like, this is so easy. Like, to me, seriously, this is funny, Kelly. People that can work spreadsheets, I look at them like they are geniuses. I look at them and I go, good God, how did you make that? I look at that like, because it's not my brilliance.
Accounting and tax.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not my brilliance. So I assign so much weight to that and just go, oh my gosh. But somebody who's doing that naturally is like, duh, I could do this in my sleep. Okay, well, that's the challenge, is because it's so easy, we dismiss it. You know, there's just enough of the old, like, Puritan work ethic still running around in our head. You know, there's a few John Wayne still going, you know, come on, little woman, I don't need anybody. You know, it's like we have to make it hard. It's, you know, you hear it in the culture, no pain, no gain. And there's this energy around, if it just comes easy and naturally, surely it can't be of value. Like, really? I'm supposed to work for it. And so it's also, I use the term default. Our default is set to struggle. Our default is set to, God, it's going to be hard, and I don't know how. So because it's in our blind spot, when you find it, it's just like, no. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. And you can't charge for it. That's a whole other part of the conversation later, but that's ultimately the challenge. So.
Right. Oh, and I can definitely resonate with that, with these limiting beliefs, because, like you say, that work ethic that's ingrained in you, that of course has a lot of great aspects to it, but then it has the downfall of, if you want something, you have to work hard to get it. Anything worth having is worth working really hard for.
Yeah, right.
Kind of how I was brought up too. If you want
Absolutely.
something bad enough, you just have to work your butt off to get it, right? So.
Yeah. So if something is easy and natural, you don't trust it. You know what I mean? Cause, and you think, well, everybody can. That's the thing. When it's your sweet spot, your brilliance, you have this like, it's so easy. I don't have to think about it. Surely everybody knows this. Everybody could do this. Well, and they can, and they don't. But you don't know that because it's so easy for you. You know. So.
Yeah, it's part of your gifts and your talents and skills that you're put here for. Yep.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So I want to, because of course, aside from emotional pain or angst or anxiety, I'd really love to know what's the cost of this to those who want to go from corporate to creative, and those who are already running a creative business. Really, what are we talking here?
Gosh, the cost is crazy. So. And Kelly, I'm going to say something, and it's like one of those like, oh, darn it, you're not going to like it, people aren't going to like it, but here we go. Visibility trumps ability. And what I mean by that is visibility, and I'm not saying it's more important than ability. I'm thinking like a marketer. I'm thinking like getting customers and clients in the door, right? So what that means is you could be the most talented, best-kept secret sitting in your living room, not making money in the world. And the guy down the street that's really kind of sleazy, but he knows how to get visibility, is pulling in all the business that you're losing. And so what that means is, when I say visibility trumps ability, it's not enough, particularly, we are sort of in a new economy. Buyers are a little more suspicious and a lot harder to part with cash. They're like, yeah, I'm not sure. I gotta trust it. You know what I mean? We're a different game right now, and so visibility is so. I'm not saying it's more important than ability, but you have to think about visibility. Like that, in the old days, it was like, but I'm really good at what I do. Okay, well, I was really good at what I do and wasn't making a lot of money. So there's so many people that are brilliant and broke, and so the key is, you have to get visibility. Like that is, if you're either thinking of a business or in a business, your number one thing is, what am I doing to get visibility? But if you haven't understood and landed on this, what's my brilliance, you're going to sound like everybody else. You're going to be bland. You're going to have, very often people use Yellow Page ads, which I don't really necessarily agree with, but they could probably sound like every other, let's say you're a chiropractor, you take out your name and put the guy down the street, and it's all the same. Like, it all sounds the same, And a consumer is like, how do I choose? They all sound the same, So
yeah, like that.
Cost,
we're a full service blah 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 firm.
Yeah.
Whatever firm.
Yes. We're reliable, and we're totally there for you. We care about our customers. Well, so does everybody else. Shut up. That's not good enough today, And so, what happens? The cost of it. So if you're not working in your brilliance, you don't have the visibility. You are going to be seen as bland, or really, it's going to cost you money. Like if we just go kind of cut to the chase. If you sound like everybody else, if people don't exactly get what you do, if you're not unique, they're not going to find you. They're not going to buy from you. And the other part, the intangible, is you're also not working in your gifts. That means you will have to take clients you don't necessarily like, or you have to take business you're like, it's okay. I got to take it because of the money, but I don't really love it. So there's a lot of cost to this one. This could be a soul killer. I had a client come in. I'll give you just one little example. She's a coach, and she worked with a coach to design her website. Because a lot of the work I do with people is I make sure their message is who they are, And this person came to me, and she was really sassy. Like, she was, kind of fiery and, just swore a little bit, and she was really powerful and passionate. And she had this website that looked like, this like little Reiki healer website. It was very, and I go, like, what happened here? And she goes, well, my coach thought I should go down. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she hated it. She didn't resonate with it. She hated her site. She wasn't getting any clients. But she allowed herself to be talked into a coach's version of what she should be. And when I met her, like in 1 hour, I'm like, oh my God, really? It's like if your husband went out and you'd like, you're wearing that out today? Really? You're like, that's what I said to her. Like, you can't wear this out in the world. That is completely not you. And so it wasn't working because here she had spent money on coaching, spent money on getting a website, but it was so not her that it wasn't attracting the right people. And she was just like, ugh, I hate this. I hate the business. I hate the clients. I mean, she was ready to quit because it just – and that can happen easily if you don't understand the visibility piece of it.
Absolutely. Can I share something really quick?
Yeah, sure.
So, everyone, I want to let you know that Therese will be sharing a wonderful gift with you today, and I want to let you know just from a personal perspective, she called me out a bit on this too. And I want to tell you this because what we're going to see in this free resource that she shares with you is that this process of evolution, and we're always becoming, and we're having to adjust our message according to who we're becoming, and we're evolving. So I'm going through this myself right now, so I just want to sort of share that as, it's very personal. I'm being vulnerable here, and I'm okay with that because that's the new me, and you're going to see more of that messaging too. So do we want to tell everybody the link now, and we can tell them again?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to go into it in the next couple of questions. I'm going to go into a little bit more. But I have for you a fabulous ebook workbook. I think it's like 60 pages. I don't know the exact page number, but it's a big one. It's not like a 7-page. It's like really beefy. And I call this inner marketing because a lot of marketers go, okay, who's your target market? What problems do you solve? Blah, blah, blah. And most people, that's the starting line. And I'm like, no. We got to figure out what makes you unique. I want you so out there. I want you, if you have a sassy side to you, I want that on the pages, like really juicy. And most people don't know how to find that. And I will say, Kelly, and you get this, it's very hard to do yourself. Because remember, your brilliance is in your blind spot, right? So it's kind of like you need somebody to kind of midwife this out of you. It's a very hard thing to land on. And it changes. Who you are now is not the same person you're going to be in your business in 3 years. And so you need to be in this constant inquiry and discovery. And so I have this ebook, and I'm really proud of it. This is my favorite thing I've ever done in terms of ebooks, and it's called, I just call it the Inner Marketing ebook. I don't know what the title is. Something about getting your brilliance out of the blind spot or whatever we're talking about. But it just asks you go answer these questions, do these exercises, and you can start to figure out what is my brilliance, how can I charge for that, what's in the way of charging for it. I mean, it's pretty juicy. So, and how you get to it is happyinbusiness.com. That's the word happy, inbusiness.com / Inner Marketing ebook.
Okay, so happyinbusiness.com / Inner Marketing ebook.
Yes.
Okay, everyone listening in, go grab it because
it's a great freebie. Yeah, it really is. Thank you.
So speaking of things I love the $64,000 question that you would like to ask to start things off. So what is that, and can you share that with the audience, and also why it's so important?
This is a really good one, and this again, this is the kind of stuff, Kelly, that makes people's brains hurt. But these are questions you have to answer for yourself. If you don't answer them, imagine if you go to an architect and go, well, I want a house, and I don't know, just make a few bedrooms. Like an architect is like, no, we're not starting there. That's what this question is. But most people don't like it because it's kind of hard. It really is. That's why I like the ebook, because it gives you some tools. But okay, the $64,000 question. Ready? I want you to think of your competitors. So if you're a graphic designer, there's you and 100 other graphic designers. If you're a interior designer or massage service, whatever. Now, I do say this work is for service. You call it creative service providers. I can't make selling nails in a hardware store much sexier. So we're not talking to the commodity businesses. We're talking to the people that usually sell themselves as their business. And so it's really hard once you start selling yourself. So if there's 100 of you in a room, so I want you to think of your competitors. So whatever the title is, you're 100 of you in the room. Here's the question, $64,000 question. Why should somebody hire you? Now, most people would go to this. Well, it's because I get good results. And here's the thing, and this is where people go, shut up, woman. Anything that you can say, but I should hope so, you got to get rid of. So if you are a CPA and you say, well, you should hire me because I'm reliable, well, your customer should say, well, I should hope so. Get rid of that. And imagine you and those 100 are in the room, and y'all, and I'm going to even make it harder, y'all have roughly the same education. You get the same results. You're roughly the same prices. What do you got left? And that's the mistake most people make. Most people say, you should hire me because I've been in business 20 years, and we have office hours on Saturdays, and we take insurance, and we care about our customers, and we provide stellar customer service. Well, all that's like wah, 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 wah. Like
right.
That is going to, they're going to fall on deaf ears. So the deal is, you have to be, remember I said visibility trumps ability, you have to be so stand out, you have to be so unique, so different. If there's 100 of you in a room, I want you to have something, and this is the people don't usually get this. Most of us, I know when I first started, I took my photos in a black professional business suit. I'm like, Kelly, I'm so not a black professional business, really, like you know me, right? I am so not a black suit girl. But I thought I needed to be professional, right? And I'm not saying you can't be professional in tie-dye, but we have this fantasy that we have to put on, especially, God bless you, if you're coming from corporate, woohoo, you get to shed, baby. You get to shed all that and say, what is true to me? And so can I there's some questions. So is it okay if I move into, because I know we're getting, I want to go over here. Can I tell them the questions to ask to help them discover that?
Absolutely, but I want to share something really funny that popped into my head as you were talking is, I come from corporate, but I was in a room probably of about 100 people when I was interviewing for a corporate job, and everyone was wearing black and navy blue or dark gray suits. I wore a bright red coat dress.
Woohoo! How did I know that about you? That is so you, right? That is so you.
But until you said that, I thought, how can I bring my bright red dress into my current business? So thank you for that, Therese.
We've been talking about that. I know. I'm going to get you out there.
So share those questions with us so everyone else can discover their red dress.
Yeah. and again, and I don't know if your market is predominantly women, but if you have women buyers, I'm just going to tell you this. Women are far more relational. A man might be, hey, I don't care, just bottom line, whatever the cheapest deal is. Okay, I don't even want to build you a business that you're the cheapest deal. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about customers that are going to make buying decisions based on relational aspects, particularly women. And the mistake too many people make is that we leave our personalities at the door. We leave, for me, I love when my clients talk about their kids or their families or their deals or I'm just very relational. That is who you are in business. You can't take your life out of your business, But I think in business, some people segment that and go, hi, okay, let's get started on blah, blah, blah. And if you're a relational person, you're like, it feels like you didn't get something there. So what's going to make the people hire you in the room, if there's 100 of you, these are the 4 questions that you can start weaving through your marketing. And I got to tell you, Kelly, it takes courage, okay? It takes courage to wear that red coat dress, you know what I mean? And so, so there's 4 questions. And the first one is you look into your history and say, what would somebody say that is pretty cool about? And it sounds silly, but I'll give you a perfect example. I have a client locally who I was talking to him, and he does a business that sounds like everybody else, and he told me his business, and I'm like, wah, 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 wah. It's not landing, because I listen for how does that land. That's how I listen. And I said, tell me, is there anything in your history that somebody would say that is pretty cool too? And this guy teaches marketing to small business owners. And he said, well, the only thing I can think of is that I used to be a roadie for Megadeth, Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper. At this point, Kelly, I'm
cool.
I am flying across the table going, good God, are you using this? Okay. I haven't been able to have my way with him because if it were me, I would put Alice Cooper's picture all over his bloody website, and I would say, here's how I use it. if I could set the stage for Alice Cooper to shine, I could set the stage to show you how to be the rock star you are in your marketing. Brilliant.
Yeah,
he hasn't chosen to use that yet, and truthfully, it's not working as well as his business could. That's an example. Because, again, you're thinking, but who cares? People care. So, again, if there's 100 of them in the room and 100 people looking for a marketer, and that's the dude that partied with Alice Cooper, and you happen to have his posters on your wall 30 years ago, you'd be like, oh, I could hire him.
Yeah.
Because remember, all things the same. So the first one is that's pretty cool. The second one is, what have you overcome? I always start my intros saying, I overcame not believing in myself. I overcame losing so much money, having such a painful and long learning curve, and so today I'm here to teach you how not to do it. What have you overcome? Now, the trick here is you don't want to be like, well, I got a divorce last week, and that SOB husband. You don't want to be right in the middle. You gotta have a little distance and use it because. And people are like, well, I don't want to share my stuff, but the reality is, again, the more people connect to you, the better. The next one is, what are you a stand for? You are a stand, Kelly, that people can leave corporate and have a delicious business. Feel like you're such a stand for, getting out of corporate into a creative thing like that. I can feel it from you. I'm actually getting goosebumps. So you want to ask yourself, what am I a stand for? And that means to me that I'm going down with this one. Like, this is my position in the world. I'm planting my stake here, and we're gonna I'm gonna be talking about that. I am a stand that nobody has to suffer in a corporate job forever, right?
Yeah.
And the fourth one, and this one really excites me. What pisses you off? And this is, in marketing, at least for me, I love the compare-contrast. And what pisses me off in my business with business coaching and marketing is, in my world, people don't go deep enough. People aren't talking about mindset. They're not talking about your values. They're not talking about this stuff. They're just giving you blueprints. And people get suckered in, spend tons of money, and that really pisses me off. And so when I discovered that, I'm like, oh, if I'm in that room of 100 and I'm saying that, that's going to get attention. So this is what you do when you ask yourself, why me? Why should somebody pick me? And again, if you go to the happybusiness.com/inner marketing ebook, there's worksheets to pull this stuff out of you. These are great questions, and you got to start talking about them and putting them in your marketing, and you are going to find the right people are going to resonate with you. It's very cool.
Absolutely. Therese, we only have a little bit over a couple minutes left.
Yes.
I'm wondering maybe if you could share another example with us, because I think that will help it make it more real for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. And this is a client of mine. I said this guy is named Michael, and he does spiritual clearing. He goes into the Akashic records and does clearing, and his website is actually, and I'm really proud of this website, and I'll give it to you because we did a great job. It's called Healed Spirit, HEALED, healedspirit.com. Now, when I looked at Michael's website, you got to look. Michael is 62 years old. He's a biker and used to smoke pot. And he's this big, burly biker dude. Now, his website looked like a little, vegan, lotus flower, Reiki, 80-pound chick, right? And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, good God, Michael, you are so unique. Like, you're like the man. You're like, hey, and he swears. He's like, well, I'm going to teach you spiritual principles. What the hell? Go sit down and let's have a beer. He's really. And I said, your website does not reflect that. And so I got him. I was so proud of him because one of the things it takes courage to do this, And so I actually got him. You got to go read his about. It is the coolest about. And what he says is, what does a former pot-smoking biker know about spirituality, and how can that help you? And it's kind of like, hey, if I can embrace spirituality and learn this stuff, you can too. And he's really appealing to the person that isn't esoteric, that's very grounded, and doesn't like all the woo-woo stuff.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful.
It's so cool, and I was so proud of him. There's pictures of him on his bike, and he talks about smoking pot, and because that's who he is. And so instead of hiding that, he embraces it. Another one, a woman named Rhonda, who's a marriage coach, she's been divorced 4 times. And she's like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? I said, oh, no, let's rework this one. And so she's redoing her site. It's rondaneely.com, and she is saying, hey, you know what? I figured it out because I screwed it up so badly. And let me tell you what I learned in my first marriage. Let me tell you what I learned in my second. And I finally got it right. And so I'm an expert on what makes a divorce. Now I can show you how to make a good marriage.
Absolutely.
And so instead of hiding from, oh, God, I've been divorced, she just throws it out there and says, you know what? Hey. And so those are great examples of what she overcame and, why she's different, et cetera, et cetera. So. Very good.
Well, Therese, I appreciate being here with us today, and I just want to give another shout-out again for everyone. Go to happyinbusiness.com/inner marketing ebook and go grab that right now. Thank you, Therese.
Fabulous. This was great. Thank you so much, Kelly. Okay. Bye now. Take care.
Have a great day.
Okay.